Do you ever freeze when someone simply asks you, what did you do today? What if you could describe your entire day effortlessly, sounding completely natural? Welcome to Everyday English Flow.
Yes, welcome. And, if you are a beginner English student or you're aiming for that confident B2 level, well, this session is made specifically for you.
Exactly. You already have the potential to speak beautifully.
Yeah.
Today, we are just giving you the tools to unlock it. By mastering these daily routines, you will build immense confidence in your everyday conversations.
So today, we're focusing on daily English practice, natural speaking, and effortless listening flow. We will explore the exact vocabulary you need to describe your daily routine from morning to night.
Right. And to make sure we cover everything in perfect detail, we have divided the day into 3 main parts, and we will master exactly 14 essential English words, idioms, and phrasal verbs.
14 specific tools. And we are going to look closely at not just what these words mean, but the actual mechanics of why we use them, the history behind them, and how you can physically pronounce them to sound completely natural.
Yeah, we have structured this deep dive at a deliberate, careful pace. We will articulate clearly, break down the complex phonetics, and use heavy repetition.
Because language learning is not a race to memorize a dictionary. It is about building muscle memory in your mouth and your mind.
Are you ready to begin? We are going to start the moment you open your eyes in the morning. But what is the very first physical action you should take before leaving your bed? Let's dive in.
Well, the alarm goes off. It is 6:30 in the morning. The sunlight is just starting to come through the window.
And what you do in the next 5 minutes actually determines your English fluency for the rest of the day.
Why? Because it all comes down to the biological structure of your morning.
Right, let's look at that very first action.
It is believed by behavioral psychologists that the first moments of waking set a biological baseline for your cognitive function.
So it sets the tone for your brain.
Exactly. When you wake up abruptly, your body releases a surge of cortisol, which is a stress hormone.
Cortisol, the stress stuff.
Right. If you immediately jump out of bed and start rushing, that cortisol remains high. And here's why that matters for our listener. High cortisol actively blocks the language centers of your brain.
Wow. It actually blocks the language centers.
Yes, it induces a fight or flight state where your memory recall just fails. You will literally forget the English words you learned yesterday if your morning is too stressful.
I mean, I have actually experienced that. If I am running late and feeling panicked, I stumble over my words, even in my native language.
You all do.
My brain just blanks out. So to prevent this, we need an action that physically tells the nervous system to calm down.
Which brings us to our first essential vocabulary word for the morning routine. The word is stretch.
Stretch. Let's really unpack this. Stretching is like waking up your muscles before you wake up your brain, right?
That is a perfect analogy. Let us examine the mechanics of this word because it is an excellent pronunciation exercise.
It really is.
Stretch means to extend your body or your limbs, your arms and your legs, to their full length, specifically to loosen your muscles.
But saying the word requires some focus. It begins with a 3-consonant cluster. ST, or strine.
Strine.
Yes, that cluster can be really difficult.
I know many language learners, especially those whose native language is Spanish or Portuguese, might accidentally put an E sound at the front. They might say, oh, a stretch.
Exactly. To sound completely natural, you must start with the hissing sound of the S directly behind your teeth. Then immediately tap the T and roll into the R, stretch, and it finishes with the CH sound. CH, like a sharp burst of air. Stretch.
Stretch. You are extending your body. You are reaching your arms high above your head, pushing your toes to the bottom of the bed.
Stretching actually increases the blood flow to your brain.
It does.
It does. It physically signals to your parasympathetic nervous system that you are safe, lowering that morning cortisol.
Wow.
You're quite literally waking up your muscles before you demand that your brain wakes up. Let us practice using this in a natural sentence. Listen to the rhythm of the words.
Okay, let's hear it.
I take a moment to stretch before I get out of bed. I take a moment to stretch before I get out of bed. Let's try another one, maybe a bit simpler for our beginners. Every morning, I stretch my arms.
Every morning, I stretch my arms. Notice how the voice naturally rises and falls. Say it aloud, wherever you are listening. Muscle memory is built through repetition. Every morning, I stretch my arms.
Every morning, I stretch my arms.
Perfect.
So you're stretched, hydrated, and fed. Oh wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. We haven't hydrated yet. You're stretched. Your muscles are awake. Your cortisol is managed.
Right, but your brain is still in a slightly compromised state.
So how do you kickstart your internal engine so you can actually remember your English vocabulary today? The answer is next.
This brings us to the second word in our morning routine, and perhaps the most vital biological action of the day. The word is hydrate.
Hydrate. Let me spell the root of this for our listeners because it's a very scientific sounding word. Hydrate. Hydrate.
Yes, and the beginning of that word, hydro, comes from ancient Greek, doesn't it? Meaning water.
Hydro means water. To hydrate is the verb form. It means to cause something to absorb water.
Now let us look at the why. Why is it not enough to just say drink water? Why use the word hydrate?
Well, I suppose drinking water is just the physical action. I can drink a sip of water, but hydrating feels like I am accomplishing a biological goal.
Exactly.
I am restoring something that was lost.
That is a perfect distinction. It is believed that the human brain is composed of nearly 73% water.
73%.
Yes. While you sleep for 7 or 8 hours, you are naturally exhaling moisture. You wake up in a state of mild dehydration.
Oh, I see.
When the brain is dehydrated, the actual tissue shrinks slightly, pulling away from the skull.
Wait, really? It shrinks?
It shrinks slightly. This slows down your neural pathways. Cognitive processing speed drops. Memory recall becomes sluggish.
So if your brain is dehydrated, trying to recall an English grammar rule is like trying to drive a car through thick mud.
That is exactly what it feels like.
The engine works, but the environment is working against you.
Precisely. By choosing to hydrate the moment you wake up, you are lubricating those neural pathways. You are literally watering the language centers of your brain.
Let us practice the pronunciation. It has 2 syllables. Hydrate. The emphasis is on the first syllable. Hydrate.
I always hydrate first thing in the morning.
I always hydrate first thing in the morning.
Let us try another practical sentence. It is important to hydrate your body to feel awake.
It is important to hydrate your body to feel awake. I love how structured this is becoming.
We stretch the muscles. We hydrate the brain.
But wait, what about energy? Water doesn't have calories. Our brain needs fuel to study and work. Which brings us to our third vocabulary phrase, light breakfast.
Light breakfast. Let us analyze this phrase. We all know the word breakfast. It literally means to break your overnight fast.
Right. Break fast.
But the adjective light is what we must focus on here.
Yeah, when we say a light breakfast, we don't mean light in color, and we don't mean sunlight. We mean light in weight and density.
It is the opposite of a heavy breakfast.
Correct. And there is a profound physiological reason for choosing a light breakfast. Digestion requires an immense amount of the body's energy.
A massive amount.
Right. If you consume a heavy breakfast, say a massive plate of fried meats, heavy breads, and thick syrups, your body must redirect a massive volume of blood flow away from your brain and down into your stomach to process that dense food.
I know that feeling perfectly. You eat a huge meal, and suddenly you feel incredibly sleepy.
The brain gets foggy.
Yes, your brain gets foggy. If I am trying to practice my English listening flow, the last thing I need is brain fog because my stomach is working overtime.
Exactly. This is why a light breakfast is essential. A light breakfast provides just enough glucose, sugar, to wake up your cognitive functions.
But it is simple enough that your stomach can digest it quickly without stealing blood flow from your brain.
Right. Common examples of a light breakfast include a bowl of oatmeal, a simple piece of whole grain toast, or perhaps a fruit smoothie.
Let's look at the word smoothie really quickly. It comes from the word smooth, meaning having an even and regular surface with no lumps.
Smooth.
A smoothie is a drink made by blending fruit and vegetables until there are no pieces left. It is perfectly smooth. It's a great light breakfast.
Let us practice speaking about our morning fuel. I prefer a light breakfast, like oatmeal, to start my day.
I prefer a light breakfast like oatmeal to start my day.
Let us try one more, focusing on clear articulation. She eats a light breakfast to maintain her focus.
She eats a light breakfast to maintain her focus.
Beautiful. Now, I want to pause for just a moment. If you are enjoying this daily English practice, please like, share, and subscribe to keep improving your effortless listening flow.
Yes, building a habit requires consistency, and your engagement helps us continue bringing these deep dives to you.
So you're stretched, your brain is hydrated, and you have fueled up with a light breakfast. You're fed. Your body is totally ready.
But how do you ensure you don't forget your most important tasks?
The answer is next.
The fourth term to master in our morning routine is a compound noun, to-do list.
To-do list. Let's look at how this is built. It is literally the words to and do connected by a hyphen followed by the word list, a to-do list.
It is an agenda of the tasks you must accomplish.
But why is the physical act of writing a to-do list so critical for a language learner?
This connects to a psychological principle known as the Zeigarnik effect.
The Zeigarnik effect.
Yes, the famous psychologist Bluma Zeigarnik discovered that human beings remember uncompleted or interrupted tasks far better than completed ones.
Wait, let me unpack that. You're saying that if I know I have to pay my electricity bill and call my mother and finish my English homework, my brain will constantly remind me of those things over and over again.
Exactly. Your brain keeps those uncompleted tasks active in your short-term working memory.
Oh, wow.
And here is the problem. Your working memory has a very limited capacity.
Like a computer's RAM.
Precisely. If your working memory is full of stressful reminders about paying bills and calling people, there is literally no cognitive space left to process new English vocabulary. You are experiencing cognitive overload.
That is fascinating. So the to-do list isn't just about being organized for work. It is a tool for cognitive offloading.
Cognitive offloading, yes. By writing those tasks down on a piece of paper, a to-do list, you are giving your brain permission to stop remembering them.
You transfer the burden from your internal memory to an external piece of paper.
This instantly frees up your mental RAM, your working memory, allowing you to focus entirely on your language learning or your daily conversations.
It was like emptying a full cup of water so you can pour fresh water in. Writing the to-do list empties the cup.
Let's practice saying this term. It has a very bouncy rhythm, to-do list.
Notice how the first two words link together. It sounds almost like one word. To-do list.
Every morning I write a to-do list.
Every morning I write a to-do list.
Let us try a slightly longer sentence for our B2 learners to practice their flow. I checked my class schedule and added it to my to-do list.
I checked my class schedule and added it to my to-do list.
We have conquered the morning. We have structured our biology.
But the afternoon brings a dangerous biological challenge. How do you avoid the dreaded afternoon exhaustion? Let's explore the afternoon routine.
The afternoon. The sun is high. This is usually the busiest, most demanding part of the day.
You might have back-to-back classes, intense study sessions, complex meetings, or difficult project work. It requires a massive amount of sustained mental energy.
And because the environment shifts from preparation to execution, our vocabulary must shift as well. We are moving into the action phase.
Which brings us to our fifth word, the first word of the afternoon. The word is focused.
Focused. The spelling here can sometimes trick people. F-O-C-U-S-E-D, focused.
It means paying complete, undivided attention to one specific thing.
The etymology of this word is quite beautiful. It comes from the Latin word focus, which originally meant the hearth or the fireplace.
The fireplace.
Yes. In ancient times, the fireplace was the literal center of the home. It was where the heat and light were concentrated. Over centuries, the word evolved in English to mean the center of activity or the center of attention.
I love that visual. When you are focused, you are gathering all of your mental light and heat and pointing it directly at the center of your task.
You are not looking at your phone. You are not daydreaming about the weekend. All your cognitive fire is burning in one place.
Precisely. But maintaining that level of intense, concentrated cognitive fire requires immense metabolic resources. You are burning glucose rapidly when you are highly focused.
Let us practice the pronunciation. The C in focused makes an S sound. Focused.
I need to stay focused during my English class.
I need to stay focused during my English class.
Or, to describe a state of being in the past, she was highly focused on her project.
She was highly focused on her project.
But here is a logical problem. A fire can only burn for so long before it runs out of wood. Our brains cannot stay intensely focused forever. Eventually, we hit a wall.
Which introduces our sixth vocabulary word. The word is recharge.
Recharge. R-E-C-H-A-R-G-E. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. When I hear the word recharge, I immediately think of electronics.
Naturally.
I take the cable, I plug my smartphone into the wall, and I watch the battery icon go from 10% back to 100%. Can we really use recharge for our human bodies too? Doesn't that sound a bit robotic?
It is a metaphor, and it is an incredibly common one in modern everyday English flow. But let us look past the smartphone analogy.
Okay, let's look past it.
Long before we had lithium-ion batteries, human beings understood the concept of recharging in agriculture.
Agriculture.
Like farming. Yes.
Okay.
In traditional farming, if you plant crops in the exact same field year after year after year, the soil becomes completely depleted of nutrients.
Oh, so nothing will grow.
Exactly. So farmers practice what is called leaving the field fallow. They let the field rest for an entire season. They do absolutely nothing to it.
And what happened?
By doing nothing, the soil naturally replenishes its nutrients. It recharges.
Wow. So stepping away from your desk isn't just about resting. It is an active biological requirement to replenish the soil of your brain.
Neuroscience confirms this. When you are focused, you are using your brain's executive function network.
Okay.
When you step away and take a short break, maybe you look out the window or take a quick walk, your brain switches to the default mode network.
The default mode network.
Yes, this is a background processing state where your brain synthesizes information, forms new memories, and literally restores the chemical balance needed for your next period of focus.
So if you do not recharge, your focus will naturally degrade into frustration.
Exactly. So taking a 5-minute break is not being lazy. It is letting your mental field lie fallow so it can grow new ideas later.
That is a brilliant way to phrase it. Let us practice the sentence. Notice the chi sound in the middle of the word. Recharge.
I need to take a break to recharge.
I need to take a break to recharge.
Let us try another practical example. A short walk helps me recharge my energy.
A short walk helps me recharge my energy.
You have stepped away. You have walked around. The soil of your mind is replenished. But now you must return to your desk.
And this transition back into focus requires a specific mental action, which is our 7th vocabulary word, regroup.
Regroup. Let's look at this word. R-E-G-R-O-U-P.
The prefix ear means again, and group means a collection of things or people. So literally, to group again.
The word actually has military origins.
Really?
Yes. After an intense battle, military units might be scattered across a field in chaos. The commander will order them to regroup, to come back together, count their numbers, reorganize their formation, and prepare for the next phase of the mission.
I understand the military context, but how does this apply to someone sitting at a desk studying English vocabulary? I don't have soldiers to organize.
No, but you have thoughts, priorities, and attention spans scattered across your mind. Think of it like a musician in a symphony orchestra.
I like that analogy.
Between complex pieces of music, the musicians do not just immediately start playing the next song. They pause. They tune their strings. They adjust their sheet music. They regroup.
Oh, I see.
The tuning itself doesn't make beautiful music, but it ensures the next song sounds perfect.
That makes so much sense. Regrouping is the mental tuning of your instrument. After your break, you sit down, you look back at your to-do list, and you consciously decide, okay, what is my exact next step?
You gather your scattered thoughts.
Precisely. Let us practice the sentence. Pay attention to the smooth glide of the sounds. Regroup.
After my break, I take a minute to regroup before returning to my studies.
After my break, I take a minute to regroup before returning to my studies.
You've regrouped, your mental instrument is tuned, but lunchtime is approaching. And what you choose to eat next could literally destroy your afternoon focus. Why? Listen closely.
This brings us to a crucial biological trap in the daily routine, and a very descriptive, incredibly useful adjective. Our 8th word is sluggish.
Sluggish. This is a fantastic word to say out loud. S-L-U-G-G-I-S-H. Sluggish. It feels heavy in the mouth.
The etymology here is quite literal. It derives from the word slug, the small, slow-moving, shellless creature that crawls across garden leaves.
Ugh, slugs.
Right. To feel sluggish means to adopt the physical and mental characteristics of a slug. You feel heavy, slow, apathetic, and entirely lacking in energy.
And earlier we talked about how a heavy breakfast can cause brain fog. The exact same rule applies to lunch, right?
It applies even more severely at lunch because of the biological clock. When you eat a heavy lunch, perhaps a large pizza or a heavy pasta dish with cream sauce, your body activates the parasympathetic nervous system, commonly known as the rest and digest state.
Oh no.
A massive volume of blood rushes to your gastrointestinal tract. Your core body temperature drops slightly.
So your body is basically pulling all the alarm cords saying, shut down the brain, we need to process this pizza right now. Exactly. And the result is that you feel profoundly sluggish. You sit at your desk, staring at your English textbook, and the words simply blur together.
This is why it is so important to choose alternatives. Instead of the heavy pizza, a light lunch is critical. a quinoa salad with mixed vegetables, or a simple turkey sandwich on whole wheat bread.
Foods that provide sustained energy without triggering that massive digestive shutdown.
Let us practice the pronunciation of this adjective. Pay attention to the shia sound at the end. Sluggish. Eating a heavy meal makes me feel sluggish.
Eating a heavy meal makes me feel sluggish.
Let us try another one. I prefer a light lunch, so I do not feel sluggish in the afternoon.
I prefer a light lunch, so I do not feel sluggish in the afternoon.
Now, if you do eat that heavy lunch, or if you simply ignore your body's need to recharge, you are going to collide with our 9th vocabulary phrase.
Word number 9 is a specific phenomenon known as the energy slump.
Energy slump. Let's break down the word slump. S-L-U-M-P.
A slump refers to a sudden, heavy fall or decline. If you imagine a line graph charting your energy levels throughout the day, the line might go steadily up in the morning, stay high through the early afternoon, and then suddenly drop violently downward.
Like a roller coaster.
Yes, that deep valley on the graph is the slump.
This almost always happens around 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You can look around any office or classroom in the world at 3 p.m., and people are staring blankly at the walls.
It is a universal human experience. It is believed that human circadian rhythms naturally contain a minor dip in wakefulness in the mid-afternoon. Biologists sometimes call it the postprandial dip.
Okay, the postprandial dip.
But when you combine that natural biological dip with the digestive strain of a heavy lunch, the minor dip becomes a massive energy slump.
You feel sluggish because you are in an energy slump. They are directly linked.
Precisely. Let us practice using this phrase. Drinking water helps me avoid the afternoon energy slump.
Drinking water helps me avoid the afternoon energy slump.
So let's say we did everything right. We ate our light turkey sandwich, we stayed hydrated, we avoided the slump. We are now ready to tackle the final hours of the workday.
This brings us to our 10th vocabulary word, which is an incredibly popular phrasal verb.
A phrasal verb, for our beginner learners, is a verb combined with a preposition or an adverb that creates an entirely new meaning. Our 10th word is knockout.
Knockout. Let's clarify the spelling first, because the first letter is completely silent. K-N-O-C-K space O-U-T, knockout. We never pronounce the K, it is simply knock.
Let us analyze the transition of this phrase from its literal meaning to its figurative everyday use. Literally, where do we encounter the phrase knockout?
In a boxing ring, 2 fighters are punching each other. One fighter hits the other so hard that he falls to the canvas unconscious. The referee counts to 10. That is a physical knockout.
It means to defeat completely and abruptly. Now let us apply that aggressive imagery to a daily routine.
Okay, let's see how that works.
In a professional or academic setting, to knock out tasks means to complete them rapidly, efficiently, and with great force of focus.
I have to challenge this, though. If I tell my boss, I'm going to knock out this report, doesn't that imply I am rushing through it? Like I am just punching it to get it over with, rather than doing careful, high-quality work?
That is a very perceptive question. The nuance is important. Knocking out a task does not mean doing poor quality work. It means operating at peak efficiency.
Oh, I get it.
It implies that you are in a flow state, free from distraction, decisively clearing items from your to-do list. You are defeating the tasks, not rushing them.
I see. So it's a confident phrase. It means I have the energy, I have the focus, and I'm going to conquer this list right now.
Yes. It is an extremely natural phrase used in modern English workplaces. Let us provide 3 clear example sentences for our listeners to repeat to truly build that listening flow. First, I want to knock out these emails before I leave the office.
I want to knock out these emails before I leave the office.
Second, if I stay focused, I can knock out this project today.
If I stay focused, I can knock out this project today.
Third, she managed to knock out all her English assignments in 2 hours.
She managed to knock out all her English assignments in 2 hours. You have successfully defeated the afternoon? You knocked out your projects?
But how do you correctly signal to your nervous system that the workday is finally officially over? The evening routine holds the secret.
We transition now into the final part of our structural day. The sun is setting. It is the evening routine. According to behavioral science, the way you end your day dictates how you will begin your tomorrow.
This usually starts with dinner. And just like breakfast and lunch, the physical composition of your dinner matters. But unlike the light meals of the day, dinner is when we want to begin shifting the biological gears toward rest.
We want foods that are satisfying but still nourishing. A heavy, greasy dinner will disrupt sleep. Instead, a balanced meal is preferred. A popular example is grilled salmon with a side of mixed vegetables.
Let's do a quick pronunciation check on that fish, because the spelling is notoriously tricky. Salmon.
Right, but we do not pronounce the L. It's completely silent. We say salmon, grilled salmon.
Excellent point. So, the meal is finished, the active work is done, it is time to transition into relaxation. This brings us to vocabulary word number 11, unwind.
Unwind, U-N-W-I-N-D, unwind.
Let us use a visual analogy to understand this word. Imagine a long piece of yarn or string. Throughout your busy workday, during the stressful morning commute, the difficult meetings, the intense focus sessions, that string is being wound tighter and tighter around a spool.
Oh, wow.
By 5 or 6 in the evening, the string is pulled to its maximum tension. It is wound up tight.
That is exactly how my shoulders feel after a long day of typing, tightly wound.
To unwind means to physically and mentally reverse that process. It is the active release of accumulated tension. You are unwinding the string.
What are the best ways to actually do this? You can't just sit on the couch and stare at the wall to unwind, can you?
Often, active decompression is better. Taking a gentle walk outside in the fresh air. Doing some light stretching, there is our very first morning word returning in the evening.
Full circle.
Or listening to calm music. These gentle activities signal to your nervous system that the threat of the workday is gone. The tension can be released.
Let's practice saying the word. Unwind. The second syllable rhymes with kind or mind. After dinner, I like to take a walk to unwind.
After dinner, I like to take a walk to unwind.
Listening to music helps me unwind after a stressful day.
Listening to music helps me unwind after a stressful day. Once the initial tension is released, you move to the bathroom for your evening hygiene. And this brings us to word number 12, which relies on a very modern, powerful metaphor. Reset button.
Reset button. R-E-S-E-T space B-U-T-T-O-N. Reset button. We used a metaphor earlier with recharge. Are we comparing human beings to electronics again here? Like pressing the tiny red button on the back of a frozen computer router?
The phrase certainly originates from electronics, but to make it feel more human, let us use a different analogy. Imagine walking through a terrible snowstorm wearing a very heavy, wet, cold winter coat.
Okay, I'm freezing.
When you finally step inside your warm house, the very first thing you do is take off that heavy coat and drop it by the door.
You leave the cold weather at the door, you don't wear the wet coat into the living room.
Exactly. The psychological reset button is the act of taking off the heavy coat of the day's stress. It is a physical action that creates a firm boundary between work time and rest time.
And the action we use for this is washing our face.
Yes.
Right.
The physical sensation of warm water splashing against your face, the act of brushing your teeth, these are ritualistic behaviors.
Ritualistic behaviors, right?
They tell your brain, the events of today are washed away. We are starting a fresh, clean evening.
It is so simple, but so profound. You are drawing a line in the sand. Let's practice the sentence. Washing my face feels like pressing the reset button.
Washing my face feels like pressing the reset button.
So what stands out to you? Do you press the reset button at night? Think about it. Because your face is washed, the heavy coat of stress is dropped at the door. But what should you absolutely avoid doing right before you get into bed? The answer might surprise you.
This takes us to vocabulary word number 13, a phrasal verb that is crucial for evening routines, wind down.
Wind down. W-I-N-D space D-W-W-N, wind down. Now wait a minute. We just spent a long time analyzing the word unwind. Are unwind and wind down just two different ways of saying the exact same thing? Why do we need both?
This is a brilliant observation and an excellent distinction for a B2 learner to master. While they sound similar, their mechanical purposes are different.
Okay, lay it on us.
Unwind focuses specifically on the release of stress and tension. It is about letting go. Wind down, however, means to gradually slow down the speed of your engine in preparation for a full stop.
So I might unwind after work by playing an intense, fun video game with my friends because it releases my work stress and makes me laugh.
Right.
But I wouldn't use a video game to wind down right before bed because the flashing lights and excitement keep my engine running fast.
That is the perfect distinction. Winding down is the final biological deceleration before sleep. It must be calming. And this is where modern habits often destroy the routine. What do most people do right before bed?
They lie in the dark, staring at the glowing screen of their smartphone, scrolling through social media.
Yes, and that glowing screen emits blue light. Blue light mimics the exact wavelength of the sun at high noon.
High noon, so bright.
When that light hits your retinas, it sends a signal to your pineal gland, explicitly telling it to halt the production of melatonin, the hormone responsible for sleep.
So your brain literally thinks it is lunchtime, even though it is midnight. You are fighting your own biology.
Correct. You cannot wind down while staring at a screen. You must put the phone in another room. Instead, you could read a physical paper book. Or you can use our final vocabulary word, number 14, herbal tea.
Herbal tea. Let's look at the spelling. H-E-R-B-A-L space T-E-A. Now, a quick pronunciation note here for our listeners. If you are focusing on an American English accent, the H in herbal is usually completely silent. We say herbal tea.
But if you are aiming for a British English accent, the H is strongly spoken. Herbal tea. Both are completely correct and widely understood.
An excellent phonetic detail. Yeah. Now, what fundamentally separates an herbal tea from a regular cup of black tea or coffee?
Caffeine, the chemical that wakes us up.
Precisely. Caffeine has a half-life in the human body of roughly 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
If you drink a cup of coffee at 4 in the afternoon, half of that caffeine is still actively blocking your sleep receptors at 10 o'clock at night.
That's a long time.
Herbal tea made from chamomile flowers, peppermint leaves, or ginger root is naturally caffeine-free.
The warmth of the water raises your internal body temperature slightly, which actually helps induce sleepiness as your body cools back down. It is the perfect wind-down beverage. Let's practice. I drink herbal tea to help me wind down before bed.
I drink herbal tea to help me wind down before bed.
This final step leads you, at last, to your bed. You turn off the lamp, and the final requirement of the routine is consistency. Going to sleep at the same time every single night.
10 o'clock or 10:30. Consistency anchors your circadian rhythm. And I want to leave our listeners with the most important scientific fact regarding language learning. It is believed by leading neuroscientists that a full night of sleep is the ultimate foundation for acquiring a new language.
Wait, sleeping is studying? How does that work?
When you study English vocabulary during the day, that information is stored in your hippocampus, which is a short-term holding area. It is very fragile there. If you do not sleep properly, that information is simply overwritten and deleted the next day.
That explains why I can study a list of words for 3 hours and the next morning I remember almost none of them.
Exactly. But during the deep stages of sleep, and particularly during REM sleep, your brain performs a process called memory consolidation.
Memory consolidation.
It physically moves the vocabulary from the fragile short-term hippocampus into the permanent storage of the neocortex. It builds the neural pathways. The brain is literally wiring the English language into your physical architecture while you dream. Without sleep, your studying is wasted effort.
That is unbelievable. So a perfect daily routine is not just about being a good employee or a good student. It is a biological necessity for making English a permanent part of your brain.
Yes, sleep is where the magic of fluency actually happens.
We have completed our incredible journey from the morning alarm to the midnight dream. We have covered our 14 essential vocabulary words. But earlier, I promised you a special bonus at the very end of this deep dive. Let's reveal it.
Yes, here is your bonus for today. We have discussed extreme focus and we've discussed complete rest. The secret vocabulary word that ties everything together is balance.
Balance. B-A-L-A-N-C-E. Balance. A routine isn't just about staying productive and working hard. True balance means taking moments to relax, recharge, and take care of yourself.
If you only focus on the knockout phase, if you only work, push, and stress, your cortisol will stay high, your brain will flood with anxiety, and you will experience severe burnout.
And conversely, if you only focus on unwinding and recharging, if you never gather your cognitive fire to focus, you will never achieve your goals, and your language skills will stagnate.
True balance means recognizing that you are a biological creature. You need the light breakfast and the focused afternoon. You need the reset button and the deep sleep. You structure the day so that there is a healthy, sustainable rhythm. That is true balance.
Let us practice speaking this final, powerful concept. Having a daily routine helps me find balance in my life.
Having a daily routine helps me find balance in my life.
You now have the exact vocabulary and the biological understanding to confidently describe your day from the moment you wake up to the moment you close your eyes. Keep building those healthy habits. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to keep your English flowing naturally.
We want to see your dedication to this process. And to prove that you are dedicated to your daily English practice, go to the comments right now and write, "I am consistent" in the comment box. Let us know you are building perfect routines.
If our daily habits define our days, and our days ultimately define our entire lives, ask yourself this. What is your current routine building toward for tomorrow? Take care and have a balanced, productive day ahead.